WGEM News. This is a Decision 2018 special report, the Illinois Gubernatorial Debate. Here is our moderator, WGEM's Gene Kennedy.
Good evening, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. We are coming to you live from inside the Quincy Community Theater here at the Oakley Lindsay Center in downtown Quincy. This debate is produced by WGEM News. We have also partnered with the Illinois Broadcasters Association to distribute this event to television and radio stations across the state. Tonight's participants, Republican incumbent Governor Bruce Rauner, also Democratic challenger J.B. Pritzker. This is the only downstate debate scheduled to be televised, and so with that in mind, we have panelists from several downstate regions, all representing news organizations that are owned and operated by Quincy Media Incorporated. Joining me tonight to ask the questions, my colleague Natalie Will from WGEM News, also Caitlin Canute of WEEK TV in Peoria, Doug Wilson with the Herald Whig in Quincy, James Stratton from WREX TV in Rockford, and Bobby Oler with the Heart of Illinois ABC in Peoria. So let's get now to the ground rules. These are agreed to by both campaigns. The candidates will be asked questions on an alternating basis. The candidate who's asked a question has 2 minutes to answer, and then the other candidate has 1 minute for a rebuttal. First, though, each candidate has 90 seconds for their opening statements, and per the coin toss, Governor Rauner, we will begin with you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
And as a result of his failures and his fatal mismanagement, he's now under a criminal probe, as is his administration. It's a shameful neglect of our veterans who we should be standing up for every single day.
Mr. Pritzker, I have a question for you. I want to stay with the Vets Home issue just for a moment here. The governor has pledged to keep the Veterans Home here in Quincy, to rebuild it, to make it safer. There are plans already in the works that are underway with that right now. Can you, though, commit on this stage tonight that you will keep the Veterans Home here in Quincy because it is crucial to jobs and to the economy here?
Absolutely. I believe that this Quincy Veterans Home needs to be rebuilt, and I will commit myself to finishing the job of keeping our veterans safe right here in Quincy.
Do you have anything? You have 1 minute to respond to that.
I do indeed. This statement by Mr. Pritzker is a politicization of the suffering of our veterans. It is wrong. It is shameful. There is no evidence, not a shred of evidence, of any criminal action or criminal behavior by anyone involved with the Quincy's Veterans Home or our administration.
Here's the point of a fair tax system. The point of it is that we want to lower property taxes across the state, pay for our schools differently, because that's causing a lot of the property tax increases that people are feeling. And we want to lower taxes on the middle class and those striving to get there, because people who are living paycheck to paycheck, they're the first ones who are going to be able to spend that money on something that's good for them and good for the economy of the state of Illinois if they spend that money.
But why not give a rate?
Lower taxes for most people.
Why not give a rate? We didn't get a rate in the first forum. We didn't get a rate in the ABC 7 debate.
Because
this is your chance tonight, the last debate. Can you give us a rate?
Well, let me tell you this. We want to make sure that we're negotiating it with the people in the legislature, the members of the House and the Senate who are representatives of the people. And then, and this is important, in order to get this done, it's got to go to a referendum of the people of Illinois. So, look, this is going to be negotiated. I want to have Republicans and Democrats at the table to help us determine what the rates are.
No ballpark, so voters have an idea
whatever
before they vote.
Whatever we do, it's got to be good for the middle class. We've got to make sure that we're creating jobs. Remember, the vast majority of states in the United States have a fair tax system, a progressive income tax system, and they're doing much better than we are. We're in the bottom third of job creation under this governor.
Governor, go ahead. You have 1 minute to respond.
Mr. Pritzker dodges questions like he dodges his taxes. Here's a simple fact. Mr. Pritzker won't answer this question because he knows the answer is the middle class is going to get crushed. The middle class will get crushed under his plan. His middle class income pays 6 1/4 under that plan. Mr. Pritzker doesn't want to talk about that.
Not something I accept, Governor. And once again,
yes, yours will be higher than
all right,
that.
gentlemen, we need to move on. That's time. We need to move on. I want to get back to my colleague Natalie Will. She has another question, I believe, for the governor.
The governor has proposed nothing that would help our pension liability.
Mr. Pritzker, we got to leave it there so we can get one more question in, and it comes from Doug Wilson.
Mr. Pritzker, what should the minimum wage be in Illinois?
I believe that we need to raise the minimum wage for workers across the state. It's not right. It's not right that people are earning $8.25.
What should that wage?
I want to gradually raise the minimum wage to a living wage, to $15. That ultimately is something we can do. We can protect our small businesses. We can protect our small businesses with some tax credits along the way so that they're not harmed significantly. But look, people cannot live on $12,000 and $13,000, $14,000 a year and feed their families and send their kids to college. You can't. We need to have a fair minimum wage in the state. Remember, Governor Rauner actually proposed lowering the minimum wage when he was running. I don't think that's right.
$15 an hour by when, though?
Wages across the state and stand up for collective bargaining rights and create jobs so that there's a competition for labor, because that's the best way to raise wages in our state.
But $15 an hour by when? You said gradually.
Yeah, over a number of years. Again, you've seen the proposals that are out there. The proposals that are out there have been 5- and 6-year proposals for raising the minimum wage.
Okay. Mr. Rauner.
Yes, I have for years recommended an increase in the minimum wage tied to reforms that help businesses be able to pay it. Property tax relief, workers' reform, comp reform, and regulatory relief. And we had that as part of a grand bargain that we were working on a year ago that Speaker Madigan scuttled by saying it had to be $15 an hour or nothing. He wouldn't compromise to go to $10 an hour, which would have been progress. The real answer, though, to raising wages is rapid economic growth. Rapid economic growth where companies are competing to hire workers. You know what? The states around us, the factory workers now in Wisconsin make more money than factory workers in Illinois, factory workers in Indiana, factory workers in Michigan, Texas. They make more money than here because businesses are booming in those states. And you know what? Within a short period of time, we can do that. We have the best, hardest working people in America in Illinois, the best location, the best transportation network. We should be kicking tails. To lower the taxes, lower the regulations, stop the corruption that Mr. Pritzker's part of, and businesses will flood to the state of Illinois and we'll get higher wages.
All right, gentlemen, that is the last question, folks, that we have for tonight. We could go another hour, right? So now we want to move on, though, to some closing remarks. Mr. Pritzker, let's start with you. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, thank you both so much. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our debate. We appreciate your time for both of you coming out here. We want the voters to know that candidates who did not meet the minimum polling requirements for this debate, they were given the opportunity to take part in individual one-on-one interviews. You can see my interview with Libertarian candidate Cash Jackson. That's on WGEM.com. Also, Conservative Party candidate Senator Sam McCann chose not to participate, but we want you all to know that you can find information on all 4 of the candidates who are on the November ballot on WGEM.com, specifically our Decision 2018 page. So remember, everyone, early voting is underway now. Get out and vote. Election Day is coming up soon, November 6th. And for our entire team at WGEM News, I'm Gene Kennedy. Thank you for being with us tonight. Have a great evening.